Hello everyone, I will be making multiple videos today addressing the allegations that have been spoken out against me. Before I begin, I want to clarify that I do stand by my statement that I was in multiple consensual relationships with multiple women who understood from the beginning that I would not be in a committed relationship with them. However, they did not know of each other. These allegations and testimonials against me have made me out to be a person of malicious and evil intent. In these videos, I will show you facts and receipts that will hopefully show you that these testimonials and allegations have been omitting information and twisting your perception to see me as a person of malintent. I apologize to the community beforehand because I've allowed my private life to fall into the hands of the community and become a public charade, and to toxify this community, and that is not what I intended. I showed you the information that was omitted from the Amber testimonial because I wanted to prove to you that I did not make her uncomfortable. I did not grab her in a suggestive way or anything. If I had made her uncomfortable, why would she have sent me a suggestive picture the next day and continued the conversation? I unfortunately do not have the receipts to prove that we continued pursuing each other after that night, but I hope that with this suggestive picture that was sent after that night, it can prove that she still wanted to pursue me even after that night, so I was not aware that she was uncomfortable at any moment. The next allegation I would like to address is Kaylee's allegation. Now, throughout Kaylee and I's relationship, we communicated through text message and Snapchat. Unfortunately, it has been 2 years since our relationship. I have changed phones and do not have access to our text messages, and I rarely save text messages on Snapchat. One thing that I can confirm and can be confirmed by anyone who has been my friend or has known me in an intimate way is that I am compassionate and loving. So the idea that I would brush off that someone is crying in front of me, or that I would continue any actions with them crying and laugh it off, is absolutely absurd, and I'm sure it is strange to anyone who does know me. Kaylee also stated that she blocked me on Snapchat, which if she really had, then I would not be able to access these screens. I would have not been able to screenshot this screen, nor be able to message her. I will continue addressing this on the next video. The information that was omitted from Kaylee's testimonial is that I actually unfriended her on Snapchat and unfriended her on Facebook because of an incident that happened throughout our relationship. The incident that happened is that we were all hanging out at a bar and we were invited by a stranger to his Airbnb. I was already infatuated with Kaylee by that time, and she was infatuated with me by my knowledge. And throughout our time at this Airbnb, this man made advances to her and even kissed her, and she allowed it. We stayed the night at that Airbnb. She stayed with her sister in a room. I stayed in a separate room, and the man stayed in another room. In the morning, I was awoken by the sound of her leaving with her sister and attempting to abandon me at this stranger's home. I was very hurt by this incident, and I unfriended her on Snapchat and Facebook and never spoke to her again. I will now be addressing the allegation from Quiva's testimonial. That testimonial hurt me because it seemed to omit the most facts and leave out vital information. The information that was omitted from that testimonial was that I was very, very intoxicated that night, to the point where I had to turn in for the night. I had that night 12 consecutive shots of Jägermeister. When I turned in for the night, I spent some time throwing up in the toilet profusely. Anyone who has drinking with me knows that I rarely drink to the point of heavy intoxication. Quiva stated that I specifically called for her to come to the room. The fact is that Colton had suggested to send Quiva to the room to check up on me, and I, in my drunken stupor, said yes. She said she was put off by the fact that my bedroom light was red. My bedroom light is always red. I will address this further in the next video. Now, when Quiva and Colton arrived in the room, I had already been vomiting profusely and was laying face down on the bed with my face away from them. To prove that I was drunk that night, I actually have a text message that I sent the day after to one of the women I was seeing at the time. This was December 6th, the day after that night happened, and I said, "Sorry, I was drunk last night, still rebooting." Quiva and Colton showed their concern for me still being very heavily intoxicated and asked if there was anything that they could do. And I, in my drunken stupor, with the room still spinning and still very nauseous, asked her if she could rub my back. I did not force her. I did not pressure her. I was very drunk. I simply asked one time. Quiva stated I was moaning and groaning while she touched my back. That's because I was complaining that the room was spinning and that I was very nauseous. I will continue addressing this in the next video. While Quiva was rubbing my back, I became more nauseous and even went to go throw up again and stayed in the bathroom throwing up. Now, Quiva has never ever shown me signs that she was uncomfortable or stated that she was uncomfortable with me until that testimonial. That was 15 days into the trip. If that's her uncomfortable, I'm reading everything wrong. Even after the Aruba trip, Quiva texted me. She texted me, "We miss you, B." I said, "Miss you too. Hope we can see you soon, dude." She even sent me a Merry Christmas. Then sent me, "Miss you, dude. Hope you're doing good, my guy," again on December 29th. And after Katsukan, she sent me another text. "Missed you a lot, dude. Was awesome hanging out with you. Can't wait to hang again." If Quiva was ever uncomfortable with me, then she had a strange way of showing it. Now addressing what Ava said that she had spoken to me twice about making people uncomfortable. The first time was with her sister. I showed you guys those text messages, how I apologized. I was establishing that my intent was to be the character, not to excuse my actions because I was the character. That my intent was solely to portray the character, not to make advancements on her sister, not to make her sister uncomfortable, not to be malicious towards her sister. I even showed remorse the day after she addressed me about it and addressed her about it again, that I am very sorry. I never wanted to make anyone uncomfortable. That is why her sister messaged me, "Hey, sorry I wasn't around when you guys met up with Ava. I heard you still feel bad, and if you do, please don't. It's really okay." So after being reassured multiple times that it was okay, I thought they understood that my intent wasn't to be malicious. Now, the second time that Ava addressed me was at a bar, and we were drinking, and I was with friends. So, she was addressing me in a very friendly manner, and, we both had drinks in our hands. So, of course, I, out of comedic aspect, I was saying that, sometimes I get lost in the character, sometimes Rascal's too much, and those were the type of jokes that I was making. But I thought at that point she had understood that my intent wasn't to be malicious or to make advancements on her sister. Now, Ava said that I was harassing people even after she addressed me at the bar. For that whole weekend, our group was staying at 2 separate Airbnbs, and most of the cosplayers were staying at a separate Airbnb. Ava was staying in the same Airbnb that I had been invited to by one of the people that I was having an intimate relationship with, but it was secret. Now, that whole weekend, Ava made assumptions that I was harassing said person that I was having intimate relations with because she did not know we were having intimate relations. At the time, the person and I had not disclosed our intimate relationship to anyone. Ava had heard that that person had been having trouble with some TikTokers that made her uncomfortable, but it was not me, it was other TikTokers at Playlist, but she assumed it was me. That whole weekend, Ava and everyone else were making assumptions that I was harassing that person that whole weekend, when in reality, that person and I had been having an intimate relationship, sharing a bed and other things. Ava kept questioning that person if I made her uncomfortable multiple times, and she had to keep reiterating that she was never uncomfortable with me that whole weekend without disclosing our relationship. So Ava assumed that I was harassing someone after she had talked to me, but in reality, I was not harassing anyone. I was having secret, intimate relations with someone in that Airbnb, and we couldn't disclose it. Ava went on to convince everyone else at that Airbnb that I was harassing this person, and everyone kept questioning that person if I had made them uncomfortable, and she had to keep reiterating and reinstating that she was never uncomfortable with me. I unfortunately had to find out all this information from the person that I was seeing intimately, and that upset me. That is why about 2 weeks ago, I blocked everyone that was at that Airbnb because they felt the need to make assumptions behind my back without ever approaching me directly. So Ava also stated that I was fired from Universal or not allowed to work at Universal for harassing women. I have never been fired from Universal. I have email proof that my audition for Halloween Horror Nights, I was just not picked. But they also didn't pick 200 other scare actor veterans that year. Universal even sent me, while not on the initial cast list, your information is being held in case there's need for additional casting. Here's my Universal Orlando exit survey. The exit survey is given to every employee whose seasonal position expired. In the 7 years that I worked at Universal Studios, I have never been brought to HR over any issues regarding women and sexual allegations. Now, addressing the vague, "yeah, I'm Caroline" accusation, I was never in a situation where I was alone with Caroline. I have never put her in a position where she would be uncomfortable. Whenever I hung out with her, it was with multiple people, in a room full of multiple people, or at the convention. I never put her in a situation that was dangerous. And even after Playlist, when she went home, she even messaged me. After Playlist, she randomly messaged me that she emailed her TikTok manager to get me verified. She replied, "Of course, I've got you." And I messaged her another day congratulating her on reaching 4 million followers. She even asked me for my Snapchat randomly. Caroline had a relationship with one of my TikTok friends that we had also been hanging out with at the time, and I have a strict bro code, so I never made any advancements to her. Now I will be addressing the allegations from Sean D. Sean stated that he solely bought an Airbnb and that he had invited friends to stay with him. The first information that was omitted from that allegation is that he did not solely bought that Airbnb. He code paid for it with another TikToker, the TikToker that I secretly was having intimate relations with. He even allowed her to have the master bedroom because she had paid for more than half of the Airbnb, and that was the room that I was staying in with her. He also stated that Colton and I invited fans to the Airbnb. We did not invite fans. We invited mutual friends of Quiva, Colton, and I's to the Airbnb. It had been miscommunicated that they were fans by another TikToker who wasn't even staying in the Airbnb. I would never jeopardize the safety of an Airbnb that not only my friends are staying at, but I am staying at as well. Now, Sean accused me as well of talking shit behind his back, when in reality, he was talking shit behind my back. He was spreading the misinformation that I was harassing the person that I was having secretly intimate relations with after she had reiterated to him multiple times that I never made her uncomfortable or that I was not harassing her. Sean accused me of calling him childish, which is true, because he was behaving childish. He stormed out of the Airbnb without talking to me directly, took another TikToker's car keys without permission, causing an issue where everyone thought their car keys had been stolen. And his excuse for taking the car keys without permission was that everyone was mad and I didn't know if they wanted to go for a drive. You don't take someone else's car keys without permission just because you're mad. Now, Sean